Hello friends, welcome to our channel Computer Learning Redefined. Let's start with the question. A computer uses a memory unit of 512,000 words of 32 bits each. 32 bits is the memory unit. A binary instruction code is stored in one word of the memory. The instruction has four parts: addressing mode part, direct or indirect, an operation code part, a register code part with 256 registers, and an address part. Now we have been asked how many bits are there in each part. Let's see the solution. The direct or indirect addressing bit is 1. The register code part 256 registers, so 2 raised to power 8 bits. So 8 will come out in the answer. Address part 512,000 words, so 512 into 1000, 2 raised to power 9 into 2 raised to power 10, that comes out as 2 raised to power 19 and 19 bits. To calculate the operation code part, the sum of address part, register part and the addressing bit is subtracted from the memory unit, that is 32 bits. So 32 minus 19 plus 8 plus 1, that gives us 4 bits. So the answer is 1, 4, 8, 19 bits. The next question, consider the language L is equal to a raised to power n, b raised to power n minus 3 with the given condition n is greater than 2 on input alphabets A, B. Which of the following grammars generates the language L? We have been given 4 options and we have to check which grammar generates the language L. Now, coming to the solution, option 1 is incorrect because it can generate A when n is equal to 1. Given condition is n is greater than 2. So, option 1 is violating the given condition. Option 2 is incorrect because it can generate null string. So, again the given condition n is greater than 2 is violated. Option 3 is also incorrect because it can generate A when n is equal to 1. But option 4 is correct because it can generate strings AB, AAA, 4 times AB when n is greater than 2. Now moving on to our third question, what is the output of following C program? We have been given a snippet and we have to find the output of X. So let's see the solution. In round 1, I is equal to 0, J is equal to 0 and X is equal to 0. J is not less than I, so nothing gets printed. In round 2, I is equal to 1, J is equal to 0. J is less than I, so X is calculated as 0. In round 3, I is equal to 2, J is again 0 and J is less than I, so X is equal to 1. In round 4, I is equal to 3, J is equal to 0, J is less than I, so X is calculated as 3. In round 5, I is equal to 4, J is equal to 0 and J is less than I, so X is calculated as 6. So 6 is the answer. Consider the following languages. L1 is equal to a raised to power n, b raised to power n, c raised to power n. Union of a raised to power n, b raised to power m, c raised to power m. Nm greater than equal to 0. L2 is equal to w raised to power r oblique w on the sets of alphabets A, B, where r represents reversible operation. Which of these are inherently ambiguous languages? So, inherently ambiguous grammar language is a CFL that has no non-ambiguous grammar. We can see that there is no grammar that can be derived from L1 which is unambiguous. Similarly, we can see that L2 is not inherently ambiguous and one unambiguous grammar for this language is S, ASA, BSB oblique empty. So left to right only one production rule can be produced. So option 1 is the correct answer. A fuzzy conjunction operator Txy and a fuzzy disjunction operator Sxy form a pair if they satisfy the given conditions. We have to find the value of Sxy. Now coming to the solution, given Txy is equal to 1 minus S, 1 minus X, 1 minus Y, taking it as equation 1, and Txy is equal to Xy divided by X plus Y minus Xy, taking it as equation 2. By taking equation 1, Txy is equal to 1 minus S, 1 minus X, 1 minus Y, or we can say that S 1 minus X, 1 minus Y is equal to 1 minus Txy. To find Sxy, we will put X is equal to 1 minus X and Y is equal to 1 minus Y in RHS of equation second. Now Sxy is calculated as 1 minus X, 1 minus Y divided by 1 minus x plus 1 minus y minus curly bracket 1 minus x 1 minus y. Now opening the brackets and cancelling the terms that are positive and negative and then taking the LCM, we get the answer as x plus y minus 2xy upon 1 minus xy. In our next question, we have been asked about which of the following statements are true regarding C++. Overloading gives the capability to an existing operator to operate on other data types. Inheritance in object-oriented programming provides support to reusability. When object of a derived class is defined, first the constructor of derived class is executed, then constructor of a base class is executed. And the overloading is a type of polymorphism. So let's now see the truthfulness of each of the statements and its explanation. Overloading gives the capability to an existing operator to operate on other data types. It is true that operator overloading gives the capability to an existing operator to operate on built-in as well as user-defined data types. The second statement, inheritance in object-oriented programming provides support to reusability. Inheritance is a mechanism in which one class acquires the property of another class, so it facilitates reusability. When object of a derived class is defined, first the constructor of the derived class is executed and then the constructor of base class is executed. It is an incorrect statement because when we define an object of a derived class, first the constructor of the base class is executed and then the execution of the constructor of the derived class takes place. And the last statement, overloading is a type of polymorphism. It is a true statement because operator overloading and method overriding are types of compile time polymorphism, whereas virtual functions is runtime polymorphism. In the next question, which of the following class of IP address has the last address as 223.255.255.255? So let's see the range of each of the five classes. Class A 1 to 127, B 128 to 191, C 192 to 223, D 224 to 239, and class E 240 to 255. The given address is the last address of the class C. So option 3 is correct. Moving on to our next question, we have been given 4 pairs of input alphabets 0 and 1. Now we have been asked which of the following pairs have a post correspondence solution. Before going to the solution, you must be knowing about a PCP problem. A PCP problem is an undecidable decision problem over an alphabet E, which states that given m is equal to x1, x2, x3 to xn and n is equal to y1, y2, y3 to yn, m and n are two lists of non-empty strings over E. We can say that there is a post correspondence solution if for some I2 to ik, where I is less than equal to ij less than equal to n, the condition satisfied is xi1 to xik is equal to yi1 to yik. Now a3 a4 is equal to b2 b1. We can see here in the question a3 a4 is equal to b2 b1. a3 is 1 1 and a4 is 101. Similarly, b2 is 11 and b1 is 101. So we can see that 11101 is equal to 11101, or a3 a4 is also equal to b3 b1. So 11101 is equal to 11101. But pairs CD do not have any PCP solution because they do not satisfy the condition of the post correspondence solution. Moving on to our next question, we have been given a diagram of weather information system and we have been asked when an external system requests the summarized data from the weather station, what is the increasing order of lifeline for the objects in the system? So let's see the solution. In the given diagram, we can see that a connection is established in order to send and receive the weather information between the sender and the receiver. Further, the link is terminated after the completion of data transfer process. In the diagram, it is clear that satellite communications requests data from weather station requests data from communication link, and communication link requests data from weather data. The request starts from satellite communications and ends at weather data. Hence, the increasing order of lifeline of the objects in the system is as follows. Weather data to communication link to weather station to satellite communications. That means the largest lifetime is of satellite communications and the least lifetime is of weather data. But in the net exam, the marks were given to all the candidates because it is a confusing type of question and there was no correct answer for this. But the most appropriate answer seems option C, that is weather data, communication link, weather station, and then satellite comms. Moving on to our next question, a counting semaphore is initialized to 8. 3 wait operations and 4 signal operations are applied. Find the current value of semaphore variable. The semaphore value is 8 and then 3 wait operations are applied. Semaphore value after wait operations will become 8 minus 3 is equal to 5. Wait operations are also called down operations because the wait operations decrements the value of the semaphore. Now semaphore value is equal to 5 and signal operations 4 are applied on the semaphore value. So semaphore value after 4 signal operations are applied is equal to 5 plus 4 is equal to 9. Signal operations are also called up operations because these operations increments the value of the semaphore. Hope you like our simplified approach. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Thank you.